Here's another outdoor stairway I come across and wonder why it was built that way, but understand that most of us look at something and they think, you know what, that's easy to build and that's a great idea, I'm going to do it the same way, and that's fine. But I'd like to put a little insight, or at least share my opinion with you for this particular stairway, and it's quite simple. It's just built out of boxes. Usually, I've seen people use railroad ties actually for this. 6x6s, 6x8s. These are 4x8s. They're 3.5 inches wide by 7.5 inches wide to keep the step at 7.5 inches. That's the maximum for most building codes will be 7.75 inches. If you're doing it for someone who has a difficult time walking up the stairs, you might want to use a 4x6. You might want to use something that's a little smaller, maybe 5.5 inches instead of 7.5 inches. And of course, there's a bottom view of it. Another view, give you an idea, just boxes stacked on top of boxes and filled with dirt. So in this particular stairway, this is just filled with dirt. I do not like this design because when it gets wet, and depending on the dirt, if it's sand, it's going to be difficult to keep in here. Sand's going to just spread all over the place. And if you get sand on the edge of this, and you're walking down or walking up the stairway a little faster than normal, this is going to be slippery. I do not like sand. And if you're going to fill it with dirt, you're going to run into the problem when it gets wet. This stuff's going to be slippery, and of course, you're going to be tracking it all over the place. So dirt, not a big fan of. Now let's go ahead and take a look at a few more products: gravel, metal, tile, pavers, wood, and concrete. And of course, gravel is, well, you see this a lot. People fill it with gravel. And again, I understand this is easy to do. Build your square box out of wood, stack them on top of each other, and fill them with gravel. I see this a lot. Gravel is going to be difficult to walk on. You walk up and down a stairway in bare feet with gravel, you're not going to want to do it again. Not a big fan of that. Someone runs up the stairway, they're going to knock some of the gravel around. You're going to be filling it with gravel every once in a while, or refilling it. Metal, not really a big fan of that. And of course, you're not going to see this. I just kind of threw it out there for someone who thought, you know, hey, I need a different look. Metal over time could rust, but of course you could get some metals, maybe stainless steel or something galvanized that's going to last a little longer. And this one here is tile. And if you're going to use tile, you're going to have to fill it with concrete. You're going to have something, some type of a base that the tile is going to adhere to. And most of the time that's going to be concrete for an exterior stairway. So if you're going to use something like tile, why not fill it all the way to the top with concrete and use some type of a decorative pattern, a stamp or something that they use to make the concrete a little nicer. And of course, pavers. Now, pavers would bring us back to the gravel. This is going to be something that will be a little easier to do. And if you were going to design a stairway using pavers, I would also recommend to build your boxes to where you can use pavers to where you won't have to do a lot of cutting. So you can see this wouldn't be that good of a width or a length. If this was a little smaller, then you would just have these here. So if you can kind of keep it in a pattern like this, that would work better. And of course, wood. You think about it, this is going to be wood. You could always fill this with wood, and I think you would be okay. And if you were going to use wood and wood for the box and wood for the steps, wouldn't be a bad idea to protect the area where the wood is touching the soil with gravel. Put a gravel spacer of at least 2 inches in between the wood and the soil. And again, this isn't a video on how to build this type of stairway. If you need more information on that, feel free to put a link or a comment in the comment area, and I'll see what I can do. This is a video on what type of materials you would use for your steps. And of course, in my opinion, concrete is going to be the best. way to build this type of stairway. And that can simply be done by building your boxes, filling it up with gravel. And like I said, the gravel's a good method for keeping some of the moisture away from the wood, especially if you have an area where the water is going to drain away safely from the gravel. Wouldn't be uncommon to find a stairway. Let's go back here. Wouldn't be uncommon to have gravel, and if you didn't have any area for the moisture or the water to drain away from at the bottom, it wouldn't be uncommon to find the bottom step rotting and the top and the upper steps perfectly fine, because all the water is going to flow through the gravel until it hits this area here. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to put some type of a drainage system or gravel at the bottom to where the water won't accumulate in the gravel. Hope that makes sense. So again, fill the gravel up a little bit. Give yourself about 3.5, 4 inches. You can always use rebar if you want to. Fill it with concrete and you are done. So hopefully this makes sense. If it doesn't, got any questions, leave them in the comment area. If I was going to build a set of stairs like this, this is how I would do it.